Just when I thought the economy and the housing market was crazy, it just keeps getting crazier. Take a look at this information coming up. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the economy, the US real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number two, if you happen to like the content in today's video, definitely give me that thumbs up like, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number three, if you're thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When the time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. All right, so I want to start off by showing you guys this shocking 45-second video clip showing just how much more expensive it is right now to own a home versus renting. Take a look at this clip, and I'm going to come back on the other side and comment on it.
The average monthly mortgage payment is now 52% higher than the average monthly rent payment, according to commercial real estate firm CBRE. The Wall Street Journal found that the ratio hasn't been this out of whack since ahead of the 2008 housing crisis. In 2006, mortgage premiums peaked at 33%. Generally, mortgage payments and rent payments are about the same month to month. Owners, however, tend to put more cash into their homes because of expenses like repairs and renovations. High mortgage payments can be attributed to today's high borrowing costs. Last week, interest on a 30-year benchmark home loan peaked at 8%. At this rate, if an American were to take out a 30-year home loan on a home that's $410,200, which is the average cost of a home in the U.S., and put down a 10% down payment, they still will pay about $3,000 a month. That's 60% more than they would have paid in 2020.
Now that just goes to show you how unaffordable it is for the average person to own a home, which leads me into this next short video segment that I want you guys to take a look at. It's only about 60 seconds long. It's from a popular podcaster talking about how there's now rumblings that the Fed, instead of interest rates going up, that the Fed might lower interest rates and the dire consequences that would happen if they did that. Take a look at this clip and then I'm going to comment on the other side.
You think that house that's $900,000, that the value hasn't moved even when they raise the rates to 8%, that $900,000 house is going to be $1.4 million. If it goes to $1.4 million and Dow Jones all of a sudden goes to 48,000, you know what just happened? This whole concept of rich getting richer, poor getting poor, it became rich getting richer, poor getting poor on steroids. How the hell are you going to, if you can't afford a $900,000 house right now, how are you going to afford it in a year if they lower the interest rates to go to 3, 4, 5%? Some of these realtors that are being irresponsible just telling everybody, well, wait till the rates come down. If the rates come down, it's reverse market crash. You want that to happen to Venezuela? Like what happened to Venezuela to happen? Oh, it'll never happen. You're just fear porn, all this stuff. Really? People can't afford to buy a house right now. There's a reason why they're renting. You're not going to have a customer qualifying for the $1.3 million home. Yes, you have equity in your house, but even if you got equity in your house, you got to find a buyer. Buyer can't afford it. There's a reason why we have so many strikes going on in America right now. People are saying, I can't afford my life. I can't afford a $900,000 loan. How the hell am I supposed to buy a $900,000, $600,000 house?
So this notion that the Fed is going to cut interest rates anytime soon is beyond crazy to me. The Fed has been doing just the opposite. They've been raising interest rates over the last year or so to try to cool inflation. And now they're going to cut interest rates and bring hyperinflation back into the mix. I do not see that happening anytime soon. Now, in the next few segments, I want to drill down specifically into the housing market crisis and show you a few specific examples of just how crazy things are and an easy way to avoid all of this housing market craziness. All right, let's take a look at this first graphic. Now, this chart right here shows you the income needed to buy a home. This perfectly illustrates how unaffordable it is for the majority of people to buy a home right now in the United States. Now, there's a paragraph right here inside the chart. I'm going to read it to you if you can't read it. It says, America's housing market is the least affordable it has ever been in 2023, with the income needed to afford a house at today's prices and mortgage rates being $111,000, assuming the payment won't exceed 30% of the buyer's gross income. And then right underneath here, it says, meanwhile, the median household income is only $78,000. So basically this chart is showing that household income is not nearly high enough to the actual income you need to afford a home right now in the United States. If you take a look at this blue line here that's gradually going up to the right, this shows you right over here to the far right that household income is about $78,000. But when you go all the way to the top and you see these yellow lines here spiking all the way here, you can see income needed to afford a home is $111,000. $37,000. So the average household income is about $35,000 short of what you actually need right now just to afford the average price home. That is not a small disparity. That is a huge disparity, and that's what's causing a tremendous amount of affordability issues and problems in the housing market. Now, many potential home buyers are still very frustrated with these high home prices, and that still rings true across most of the country, but the tide is now starting to turn. Interest rates are now at 20-year highs. There's less buyer demand. We're coming into the winter time, and now we're finally starting to see home prices come down. In fact, where I happen to be located in the Las Vegas area, you could see right next to me, home prices are definitely starting to come down. And I'm going to show you a few specific examples here in the Las Vegas area as to why I think not just in Las Vegas, but the overall real estate market, we are now going to start to see that downtrend in home prices. All right, so right now I'm on the popular real estate website Zillow. Now I want to show you guys a few specific examples of homes that are for sale in the Las Vegas area. Now I do this each week at the end of my videos just to show you guys some of the crazy price increases and some of the crazy price reductions that are happening across the board on various price points. Now I know some of you have said that I show homes that are too expensive, but I like to show these first because these are really the craziest ones and they're fun to look at. And then I'm going to work my way down into a couple of homes that are less expensive just to show you what's going on across the board. Let's take a look at this first example here. This is obviously a beautiful luxury home currently listed at $4.2 million, but I want to go down to the bottom here and show you what's going on with this particular home. All right, so this example is pretty crazy. Take a look down here in the bottom left where I highlighted this in blue. In November of 2020, so about 3 years ago, this home sold for about $1 million. Fast forward to the current date right now, and the sellers have just listed this home for $4.2 million, or a 315% increase in the value of this home. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Sellers today, especially luxury sellers, are delusional. They think they're going to get these kind of random price points that they just attach to these homes, and they are not the true values of homes. A lot of sellers, whether it's a luxury seller like this or an average seller, are still living in 2022 when they think they can get these ridiculous peak values, and they can't. This home, in my opinion, will never sell for this kind of price point, and this is what you need to be careful of. You've got to watch out for a lot of homes, whether it's a luxury home or an average home, where the price point is beyond reason. This is not the true value. That's why sitting on the sidelines and waiting things out, we are going to see home prices drop, especially like these in the luxury category. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of a home that's for sale in the Las Vegas area. Now this home obviously is a little bit lower in price than the first example, but this example is both preposterous and perplexing at the same time. You can see the price point here is just about $1.7 million, but I want to show you guys something here down at the bottom. All right, so here's where this example gets pretty crazy. Take a look down here in the bottom left. In March of 2023, so about 7 months ago, this home was originally listed for $2.1 million and there was no buyers. So the sellers slowly started to reduce the price to $2 million, to $1.9, to $1.8, all the way down to 1.5, where they had a pending sale this summer for 1.5, but for whatever reason, it didn't sell at 1.5. In July, the home finally sold for $1.1 million. That's a $1 million price reduction from just a few months ago. But here's what happened. I found out about this particular home. The buyers here was an investment company. So the investment company probably paid cash for this at $1.1 million. They got a heavily reduced price, but now look what they're doing. 3 months later, back at the end of October here, they just listed the home again for $1.7 million. So the investment company bought the home for $1.1 million in July, and 3 months later, they've added $600,000 onto this price tag so that they're now trying to sell it for $1.7 million. All right, so this is where this example gets crazy and perplexing all at the same time. Take a look right here in the middle of the page here. Just to the right of my arrow, it says September of 2023. So that's a little bit over a month ago. If we go to the far left, right here, it says $1.1 million. So Zillow had this estimated, this particular home, at $1.1 million just last month. Now take a look at the estimated value. It's just under $1.7 million. Something is completely out of whack here, because even Zillow makes mistakes sometimes with their algorithm, that just because a seller is listing the home at the listing price that they have it at, that does not mean that's the current estimated true market value. So you got to be careful when you're taking a look at properties, even on Zillow, because sometimes even Zillow screws up the data, and you need someone with experience to navigate it so that you don't overbid on properties. All right, so let's take a look at this third example of a home that's for sale in the Las Vegas area. We're definitely coming down in price now here. You can see over here on the far left, it's currently listed at $695,000, but just above it, it says price cut $70,000 back in September. So in September, just a little over a month ago, This home was currently listed at $765 and now it's down to $695. So now let's take a look at the price history of this same example. Take a look down here in the bottom left where I highlighted this in blue. In September of 2022, so a little bit over a year ago, this home was originally listed for $850,000 and there were no buyers at that level. So the sellers started to reduce it down to $765, then down to $695. They had a potential contingent sale going on, but then it fell through a couple of times at $695, where it's now currently listed at that same number. So again, guys, taking a look just a little over a year ago, this home has dropped almost 20% from $850,000 to $695,000. So again, if you're patient, this is what's been going on across the valley with a lot of homes that are still overpriced here. So if you're patient and you wait things out, especially as we get through these winter months, I think we're going to see more price drops like this across all different price points. All right, so now let's take a look at this final example of a home that's for sale here in the Las Vegas area. Now we're getting down closer to the average price point. You can see on the far left that this home is currently listed at $480,000. It's been on the market 115 days, so they're having trouble finding a buyer, and they've done some sharp price reductions that I'm going to show you right now. So let's take a look at the price history here. Down on the bottom left where I have this highlighted in blue, it says February of 2023, so 9 months ago, this home was originally listed for $600,000 and there were no buyers. So the seller has reduced the price multiple times through the course of this year. $575, $554, $530, $499, and now it's at $480 and there's still no buyers. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is a 20% price reduction or $120,000 off the original list price because sellers are still not properly pricing their homes, and there's a lot of examples of this across the Las Vegas Valley. Again, this is why I keep saying patience is the prudent play. Last year, you would have been paying closer to $600,000 probably at the peak levels. And now we're definitely off peak levels. And I think especially now with interest rates where they are heading into the winter time, home prices across all different price points are going to keep improving, especially as we get into 2024 when interest rates, in my opinion, are going to go even higher. So here are my 4 final thoughts. Number 1, inflation is still out of control. Number 2, interest rates, in my opinion, could hit 10% or more in the coming months. Number 3, foreclosures, car loans, and credit card defaults are all at record highs. And number 4, I personally believe home prices are definitely going to decline as we go through 2024. These 4 points just prove to me that most people are hanging on by their fingernails, and it won't take much for this economy to crumble like a house of cards. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Redso. Now I'm going to put Redso's comments right up here on screen for you guys to read, and I'm going to read it to you real quick. It says, restaurant tips. Used to be 10 to 15% fine a decade ago. Today, it's about 18 to 25% pre-calculated and suggested for takeout. Definitely bothering me. Now, I thought that was a very interesting comment because in the last year or so, a lot of these restaurants, when you go to pick up takeout food and you use a credit card or a debit card, a lot of them force you or try to guilt you into giving them a tip as kind of like a service-based tip when they're not really doing anything for you other than just packing up your food and you're picking it up. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. That's the newest trend with a lot of the restaurants, kind of forcing you into the tip situation. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about that. So definitely drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about that restaurant tipping situation or anything else that's really frustrating you. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. Like I've said before, I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the overall real estate market with specific emphasis here in the Las Vegas area. So like I've been advocating, guys, in a lot of my previous videos, the economy and the housing market right now is crazy. If you do not have to buy a high-ticket item like a home, don't do it. Let the storm pass. Let home prices come down. I definitely think that's going to happen as we go through 2024. With that said, if you are thinking about relocating to the beautiful Las Vegas area, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When the time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.